My name is Amy Drake. I'm the director of the charity Remembering Srebrenica, and we're here in this beautiful cathedral today to honour and remember the victims of the Srebrenica genocide 21 years ago today. And events like this are taking place across the country. We've got hundreds of events happening to commemorate the genocide, but not only to remember, but also to try to pledge to create better communities here in the UK, using the lessons that we can learn from Srebrenica. And those types of lessons are that actually it's not enough just to live side by side. We need to live together, and we need to learn from each other and learn from each other's differences, and realise that we need to embrace that difference, and difference should be cherished, not just tolerated. And I think there are so many lessons like this that we can learn from events today. So many different people and communities are coming together, and all in this collective act of remembrance that shows people care, and we are this really diverse, beautifully diverse society, and that should be something that we really build upon and we take forward.
It's where there's hatred, let us sow love. I reflect on that. I've been asked in 4 minutes to explain the origins of the conflict that led to the outrage of Srebrenica. I can describe it in some terms: the personal ambitions, the soulless ambitions of the then President Milosevic in Serbia, the ambitions of Radovan Karadzic, the leader of the Republika Srpska, the brutality of General Mladic, who led the Republika Srpska troops at the time. Actually, what's still shocking these 21 years on is to understand how people can descend from the relative stability of the Yugoslavia that once was into the killing machine that we saw in Srebrenica, where there was love. Actually, they chose to sow hatred.
The war usually is not announced. It doesn't take ages and generations, and then the war just happens. And every society in the world needs to be prepared to tackle it. The hatred spreads so quickly, and something that you can't even imagine. It doesn't take millions of people to take on. It just takes few idiots, and they will quickly gain followers. And that is why it is so important to tackle the hatred at the very, very, very beginning. It doesn't start with the killing. It starts with us and them. And when you hear us and them, that is the time to act. Later on, it can already be too late.
I'm so grateful to Manchester for putting on the event to remember Srebrenica today, because it's so important that what was a genocide on our continent 21 years ago is never forgotten. And I think what's particularly important as we commemorate 21 years is that our children and their children remember the terrible lessons of the past, and that they don't happen again.
Many people over the years have asked me why I talk about Bosnia so much, and why I always say that I'm Bosnian and support Bosnia. And my answer is very simple. I come from a very small country of about 4 million people as a population, a place where more than half the population was displaced in the aftermath of conflict. I come from a nation with a declining population rate and a 50% unemployment rate due to the inability to recover from the atrocities. I come from a background of systematic rape, torture, and oppression. I am from a place where they attempted to erase my identity, my culture, and my voice. I grew up with people who further attempted to silence me in order to integrate me into the Western culture. All my life, they have tried to silence me, but I refuse to be silent, and this is why.
It's vital that we learn the lessons of Bosnia, because racial hatred is always there. Prejudice is never far beneath the surface, but politics tends to stir it up. And when we're aware of the terrible consequences to which it can lead in places like Bosnia, it makes us more wary of our own situation with the multiplicity of communities that live together in our country. Bosnia was a place which has had a very, very difficult history in terms of communities living together. Sarajevo used to be called the Jerusalem of Europe, which indicates a certain coexistence, positive coexistence, till things went drastically wrong and age-old hatreds came up to the surface, turning people against each other. That's something we can ill afford to see in our country.
What concerns me, and I'm sure concerns many people in this cathedral, is the fact that this happened on this continent. Something that we thought that had vanquished forever, but what also hurts is the fact that 21 years ago is a generation ago. It is chilling to remember that the youngest victim of this genocide was just 2 days old. That child would have turned 21 this year, one of the many hundreds of young lives that were brutally cut short. It's so poignant for me because my youngest child is also 21 and she's graduating tomorrow. She's going to have the opportunity to do all those things that a generation of Bosnian Muslim men and boys never had the chance to fulfill. Graduating, having a career, or indeed falling in love. So it's particularly moving to me, which I'm sure it is for all of us, that remembering Srebrenica marks this anniversary with its theme of 21, coming of age, time to act. To remember those bright, innocent young lives that left grieving families to mourn lost brothers, lost sons, lost fathers, by educating and inspiring Britain's young people to join older generations in challenging hatred in our communities.
You know, people fled Bosnia in fear, literally, of their lives, and it's a tribute to this city, region of ours, our country, that so many people came to make their homes here, settled, and are now making a major contribution to what Greater Manchester life and British life is all about. You know, refugees are welcome. Refugees in fear of their lives are especially welcome because we can give them that security and safety.
Sorry.
Be honest to you, I can't believe it. How people been so good, like how they feel where I am come, which situation. They welcoming me. They prepare, people coming, bringing clothes to children, bringing food to us. They put us in one mosque, which they arrange some dinner, and after they put us to another place, whole buses. And I just looking because I couldn't speak one word of English. And they start thinking what they will do with us. They sending dentists like voluntarily to check our teeth. They sending from National Health to give us ejection because we travel. And believe me, I think so they welcoming me like their own family. I can't say how they've been so warm, how they've been so kind.
The story about Srebrenica is a story about hatred. And this is why we're here. We're here to tackle it. We're here to take some actions and fight hatred. Even though my best years in my life were taken away from me for 3.5 years, when I was supposed to live the wildest life, I've spent it in the trenches, but I have no regrets and I have no hate for anyone. If you talk to the survivors, if you talk to the mothers who lost their sons, a mother who lost 47 members of her family, if you talk to her, she doesn't have a hatred in her heart. And that is very important, and that is something that I want you to take away from here. Hate only shows, if you hate someone, that means that you're weak. And far better emotion to work on and to work with is love. So if we only could turn towards our neighbors, brothers, cousins, sisters, nephews, whoever, and share some love with them, I think this world would be a far better place for all of us. if we could only live with our neighbors, not next to them, and know their fears and know what they think, and try to do something about the fears and divisions, I would say again, we can make this world a far better place.
Remembering Srebrenica is a British charitable initiative. It's a powerful display of unity between people of different backgrounds, faiths, political beliefs and ages. Remembering Srebrenica Northwest is bringing people together through a variety of events and workshops to raise awareness of what happened, whilst also inspiring people here at home, here in Manchester, to tackle hatred, to build stronger and more cohesive communities, and to ensure that Srebrenica and its lessons are never forgotten. If my interfaith work has taught me anything, it is that our similarities are much, much greater than our differences.
Manchester is such a diverse area, and I think for people to get to know each other as human beings and not as an ethnicity or a race is actually the most important thing of all, because when we get to know each other very well, we realise how much we have in common.
Genocide, it never just happens. We've heard it's the end result of failing to stand up to hatred. There is always a set of circumstances which occur or which are created to build a climate in which genocide can take place. We must all stand together in this and play our part. We must report and tackle racial and religious hatred where we find it.
They shall grow not old as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.